that was awesome.
Welcome to the breakout session. We're going to talk about recruiting and retention and training. My name is Leslie Bingham, and I'm the CEO at Valley Baptist Medical Center in Brownsville, and honored to be out here and feel a little bit guilty for sneaking out to the island and leaving everybody working hard on our influx of flu. I hope you guys have all had your flu shots. Please, if you haven't, do it, because it's a busy flu season. That's my pitch. I'll leave it right there. That's all I'll do. I am honored to be here today with 3 guest panelists. Our thought was that they'll introduce themselves. We have a few questions that we think are probably of universal interest, but we'll scoot through those and leave time for you guys to ask questions. Also, we recognize that there's a ton of talent and resource in the room, and you may have some awesome ideas that you'd be willing to share with us in terms of what's working for you, in terms of recruitment and retention, and what role training is playing in both of those. So let me start with Sally. Sally, would you introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sally Perez. I'm the Chief Program Officer for Workforce Solutions Cameron. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Pat Hawks. We are the Workforce Board for Cameron County. We serve all the communities within Cameron County and provide employment and training services for both the individuals and for businesses.
Good morning, I'm Jackie Conrad, and I am the owner of JAM Recruiting. We specialize mainly in healthcare, but we also have helped in hospitality, and I have a second title. I don't own the title. I am the director of Friends of Animal Rescue here on the island, so I also not only recruit, but have to retain staff while here on the island too.
Good morning, I'm Stephanie Harrison. I am the owner of Sisters Interiors, which is a retail store, an interior design studio, and a general contracting service here on South Padre Island. And we've been on the island for 36 years. And so we've had a lot of experience with employees.
Awesome, nice to have you guys. So let's start with just kind of a broad scale question. Sally, I may actually hit you first, just as subject matter expert. I know in my own experience, and I know it's not a small business, but I think you can probably use whatever I say and apply your own proportions to it. The last 2.5 years have been just super difficult in terms of maintaining a workforce. In my organization, we track turnover. Jackie's probably aware of that. And generally, our goal in healthcare is to try to run under a 10% annual turnover rate, which is actually, honestly, it's a challenge to run under 10%. But what the reality has been for us, so since the beginning of the pandemic to right now, we've cumulatively had a 54% turnover rate. And so when you think about it, so from March of 2020 to right now, more than half of the people that worked with me in March of 2020 don't work at the hospital anymore. And so, where as an executive, the proportion of my job that I spent on recruitment, I'd say prior to the challenges, it's always been, the pipeline here can be a challenge, as you guys know too. But I'd say probably maybe 10-15% of my time was spent on formal, engagement in recruitment. And right now, I would say sometimes half of my day or half of my week is spent specifically working on recruitment. And then retention just closely follows that, right? Because if we don't want to be on the hamster wheel of recruit, then we have to do things to keep our good and loyal employees that we have. So definitely I felt that. So kind of the first question, Sally, for you from us is, What kind of resources are available, or what are you seeing out there that businesses can take advantage of that can be sources for helping us find employees and fill our vacancies?
Well, as a workforce board, we do have a pool of applicants that we draw from, and we assist businesses in the recruitment process. And we also provide training for individuals that are wanting to go into the healthcare field or manufacturing or education. So we prepare them by providing funding so that they can go and get their credential, and then we connect them with employers that are needing those employees.
Great. So let's pull the string on that a little bit. Jackie, let me ask you about this. How about in your own local business and as a recruiter, how important are relationships with training programs, schools, training programs? Like, do you find that your pipeline sometimes is directly kind of influenced by how engaged you are? Or do you find middlemen or mediators that kind of help you find talent?
Well, since I'm a recruiter, I'm kind of the middleman, period. But on a local base, we are very, very active in the community, which you have to, if you have a great reputation, you're going to draw some of them. Schools, from the recruiting end, from recruiting specialists, whether it be in healthcare or hospitality, really developing your contacts within the schools. And we even go as far as the high school level for our staff. We do an internship program here at Friends for high school kids to be able to gain some work experience on the weekends, find out, do they want to be a vet tech, and even support their going on to school with scholarships that are provided by some of our donors in separate finances. From a recruiting standpoint, and I don't know if I'm too close or what, from a recruiting standpoint for professionals, you really want to develop your universities and make long-term contacts, not just with their employment person, but also with their professors, so that you're getting the cream of the crop, because they will recommend you to their students as they're graduating. On a personal note, I have a 19-year-old in college in animation. He is working with a Disney professor right now, and they have already talked to him about going to work for Pixar.
Hey, Jackie, I saw some ears perk when you mentioned the internship, and I know one of the things that we kind of brainstormed about too was, what if you don't have access to a lot of money for the things that it takes to recruit? Are your internships paid internships, volunteer internships, or do you give like other fringe benefits and things?
It's kind of a mixture of both. They start out non-paid, but if we have a position open, we look at them first. We have an individual here at Friends of Animal Rescue who has worked with us for now. She started 12, and she's graduating high school this year. And I mean, she's going to be a veterinarian. And so she has been able, she's amazing because she has gained so much hands-on that she was accepted. I mean, she's an exceptional person, but she has gained so much hands-on experience. But we have had 3 that are under the age of 15 start with us that are still here 5 years later. Now, what do? They walk dogs, they clean crates, they do whatever, but they're gaining experience, and some come back as employees.
Awesome. Let's, Stephanie, you and I had a chance to talk to just in general in terms of your trials and tribulations and what's worked and not worked. And you did mention too that you have some good seniority, some longevity in your employees, but where are you right now? Like, do you have vacancies? How much of your staff are pretty tenured versus new? And what have you found lately is working for you?
Well, you know, we have three businesses within one building. 4? Is it 4? It's hard to keep up, yes. So one of the things that, I'm the second generation owner. My mother and my aunt started the business, 36 years ago. We lost my aunt a couple of years ago. So it's my mother and myself. My mother is 82 and she works 5 days a week. So she is my number 1 employee. However, one of the things that I think we're experiencing right now is that we're growing so fast and we're having to fill, it's kind of like as we grow, positions just kind of create themselves. So one of the things that's been really interesting, we have used recruiting services, we've used Indeed, we've used several of those avenues and found incredible individuals. One is my assistant sitting right there. But the other thing that has happened is because I think we have a reputation of being good to our employees and working with them as a team and expecting them and wanting them to take ownership within our business. And I just had the other day, I had a young lady walk in and you know what? She's a major, her major is in biology, right? And she's absolutely incredible. She needs a job. I really didn't have a place to put her at the time, but I created something because I wanted her talent, I wanted her energy, I wanted her sophistication, and I felt like she would be a good team member to mix in with our group. So we're kind of different because we literally are growing so quickly that we're creating positions on the fly. And a lot of my staff has been baptized in fire, y'all. I mean, we are created a whole nother side of our company called Sisters Concierge. Had no idea what we were up against. Hired somebody, and here we go. We're on it. But it's really we're kind of different than a lot of the other small businesses that we're everywhere. We have a lot of different aspects.
Gotcha. And I want to come back to you in a minute just because I want to talk about training too. One of the things that I learned several years ago that I'm definitely not good at, but I'm lucky enough to work with people that are, is how valuable the use of social media has been in just our general marketing and outreach. So, hospital's not always the easiest concept for people to get their arms around. What do they do, and why do I need one unless I'm really sick? And so many years ago, I kind of became a convert of the benefit of being, having a good social media presence. And only recently have I appreciated that same thing can happen for recruitment and probably for retention too, but certainly for sourcing and recruiting. And I know you mentioned Stephanie Indeed, and Jackie, you are out there and have your feelers out a lot. But Jackie, are you using social media at all, or when you have businesses that are customers of yours from a recruitment standpoint, do you feel like you're seizing all of the opportunities that are available through the different platforms?
Like you, I'm a convert to it, and I run 8 social media pages on Facebook, 4 on Instagram, and I leave TikTok to the younger people, and we use Twitter, both in my personal recruiting business. I mean, I have pages like Nurse Practitioner Midwest, Nurse Practitioner Southwest, physician recruitment. It's all out there. It takes a lot of work. And then I also do all the social media for Friends of Animal Rescue and our resale store here on the island. So I'm like a big junkie when it comes to social media. But it is, the way I recruit, I am not out, and I was fortunate because when the pandemic hit, it hurt my business, don't get me wrong, because nobody could fly, nobody could interview. Healthcare was just a mess, and that's the majority of my work. But it also was easy to continue. I work from home for the most part, because it was all done through social media. And people can access social media any time of the day. They are not on your time frame. And if there's one thing I think we're kind of missing at this meeting is a little bit more about social media, because I will set up all of our stuff, schedule it. And so I can schedule a week out. So one day I do one site, the next day. Now granted, you have to answer, and yes, I have an assistant, and it's not all me all the time, but you have to be fresh. You have to have new ideas. And we also promote our staff on there. We want to make sure that they are getting, everybody loves to be in the limelight. You know, they like to be, hey, look, come meet Mary Jane. She is our dog handler. We have volunteers who, there's a guy on the island named Art who is a phenomenal volunteer and dog trainer here on the island. And we promote him. We promote other businesses. We promote thank yous when we get donations from sisters. And, you know, we work together because that is the newspaper of today. I mean, nobody is reading or looking at anything but their phone. We may not like it, I'm old school, but that's who we are. And we use Indeed, we use Facebook, everything to find people.
That's awesome. That's good. Let me actually, because I do want to talk about training too. But just to kind of wrap up some of the recruitment, we can definitely take questions in a minute too. But in terms of your relationships with folks that have been utilizing your organization for a while, do you have any thoughts on what you've seen as some of the more successful organizations in terms of their recruitment efforts, how they use the resources that are available? You know, are there any pearls of wisdom that you can share with our group this morning on things that have been effective?
Yes, we do have a dedicated unit, the business services unit, that goes out to the employers throughout the county, and we provide all types of services. We do have internships, and they're paid, and we work with the school districts to get those students to apply what they learned in the classroom at the work site, and that's through a partnership with the employers. We also have on-the-job training programs where we pay about 50% of the wages. So if an employer is out there that is needing a worker, and we can subsidize half of the wages while they're in training to get them to that level that they need, then we're available for that. We also have a Work in Texas system, just like Indeed, but this is through the state of Texas, the Texas Workforce Commission, and we have the job matching system, and we can filter and look for employees for you all through whether it's a healthcare or IT or welding, whatever it is that you all need. What we have seen is new businesses that are starting up that need our assistance. We can do targeted job fairs and post them there at our workforce centers or wherever it is that they would like to have them. And we help them through social media, just like you do, try to recruit individuals. And we also send out mass emails to everybody that's in the Work in Texas systems, and there are thousands of individuals out there that we can reach to assist employers with their training needs and their hiring needs.
So Sally, if somebody was interested in the internship support program, how would they go about accessing that?
You can contact me or the business services manager, Ray Tejada, and we can certainly, we actually have to execute an agreement with you all. We do provide the insurance for the individuals, the student workers, the interns, and we place them in specific occupations. Right now, we're targeting 8 occupations, from IT, electrical, welding, healthcare. So it's just 8 of them, but it gives them an opportunity to like I said, apply what they learned in the classroom, and these students are actually getting an industry recognized credential, so you're giving them an opportunity to learn at your work site, and perhaps they could be a future employee of yours.
And then just one more, you mentioned access to like a mailing list to being able to reach candidates either electronically through the Texas Works.
The
Work in Texas, which is kind of an in-state Indeed type, and then also physical mailing list for candidates. How would they access that?
Again, if you all just contact us, connect with the Workforce Center, and we definitely will assist you in your hiring needs. If you tell us, I need an accountant, we'll go through our system, we'll filter it, we'll look at everybody that is looking or submitted their resume through that system, and we can certainly connect them through you. You can put a job posting also in the Work in Texas, and you yourself can go in there and filter and look at everyone that is interested in your jobs postings.
Great, thanks. So Stephanie, we were gonna chat a little bit about just training and the role that training has, in appropriate onboarding and retention. And you had mentioned earlier that you're kind of growing your own. Sometimes you take somebody that's not even really the traditional fit with what your business you might have thought your business needed, and then kind of molded candidate and job into something that's kind of mutually beneficial. Well, how has training played a part in that?
One of the things that, since my husband and I have been back down and working in the business, we have, we want everybody to cross-train. So a lot of the people in our store and in the interior design and of course in the construction area they can each do each other's job. And that allows growth. It allows for one person to learn somebody else's job and let the person that they're learning go to another position. Promoting within and really having our staff be up. I guess it's just have them. We want them to be. I can't even talk. I'm sorry. We want our staff to be current with whatever is happening right now in the industry. There you go. So especially with our construction group, we want our project managers to be to go to like KBIS, the Kitchen and Bath Show. So we send our team to several different areas. Our girls that are doing the interior design, they're going to be going to High Point, North Carolina, to learn more about the furniture industry, that type of thing. And but the cross training has really helped us over the last, I'd say, 6 months to really be able to grow the business, because that next person has learned somebody else's job, they've moved up, and it keeps the growth going.
Gotcha. So, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but you were sharing with me earlier kind of your philosophy on retention and kind of recognition and benefits, and basically you said they help us make money, so we.
Yeah, that's one of the things, and it was one of the questions on the form that I saw earlier. If you don't have a way to reward an employee monetarily, to give a bonus or so forth, try to find a way. If they're working their behinds off to make money for you and themselves, they should be rewarded. And it doesn't have to be large. And in the beginning, it can just be oh my God, atta girl, good job. Can't believe that you pulled off that sale. That's fantastic. It can be, okay, guys, we're all going to lunch. One of the things that we do, because we are so incredibly busy, and again, we have 3 businesses under one roof. I stock that employee refrigerator every week. There's sandwich stuff there. There's drinks. There's snacks. I want everybody to be able to feel like they can work through their day and have everything that they need. We do have sale incentives. So if my ladies reach their goals on their retail floor, they're going to get a bonus. And it doesn't have to be a lot. but it really helps. It's really just the recognition though. You know, we treat our employees like family. You know, we are, we live and breathe and work with them every single day. So I think it's recognizing their needs and making sure that we, you know, one of the moms needs to leave early because their daughter's in the homecoming parade. So and then we just let everybody go because nobody wanted to be stuck in Port Isabel traffic. But it's recognizing, and also the needs of the community and what's going on in the community. And we really try, I think all of our employees really enjoy working at Sisters because we do care and we do recognize. And I think that's a big, you know, plus.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely, Jackie.
Okay, Friends is a nonprofit organization. We don't have a ton of money, but we stock the refrigerator. They're there 10 hours a day. We also work hard at getting them out in the community if they want to be involved in the events. We have found that they are much more team-oriented when they get to go out and see what happens. And we do things, I call them lifesavers. We save a ton of kittens every year and even baby possums. And I always, every time they have a critical animal and it survives, I send them lifesavers. So they are a lifesaver. And we also do, if we get a new order of t-shirts, they all get a t-shirt. We pay for their scrubs. You know, it's little things. We can't afford the big stuff. And I think sometimes, but the one thing we're bad about that I've learned this week is recognizing the individual. They're not all cookie cutters. You know, they say you hire in your likeness. Well, I must be very schizophrenic because we have a lot of personalities. And so I have learned, I did a deal a couple weeks ago. We have a private Facebook page, there again, another page, where only our staff is on there. And it is for sharing information. And we do watch this animal, they don't look good, do this, do that. And some got away from reading it, so at the end the other night I wrote, and what is your favorite snack? And the ones who read it got their favorite snack. And it went from Snickers to baby carrots. Yes, everything in between. So we you would have thought we wrote them $100 check because it was about them, not the group, you know. And our people don't make more than $12 to $15 an hour, and they are the hardest working people around. But they stay, for the love of the job, thank God, and they stay because they are recognized. And like you, if we have an admin who has 3 kids, is widowed, she has a laptop at home. And her role she can do from home a good share of the time. If there's one thing we learned about the pandemic, now in healthcare you can't, and in a restaurant you can't, but we learned there were certain roles that we can say, here's a laptop, you can do this from home. But I think we have to really look at the individual. Don't group them all together, because what excites one is not necessarily going to excite the other one. Baby carrots would not excite me as a reporter. And yet, our lead animal care guy was so excited we didn't buy him a chocolate bar. So that's just a little bit of feedback.
I wanted to add, on the retention services, there's a lot of grant opportunities for small businesses for upskilling of their workforce. So we do connect any employer that's interested in that. And there's also tax incentives, the work opportunity tax credit, there's the state tax refund, there's the fidelity bonding, so there's a lot of great incentives that the Texas Workforce Commission provides for small businesses. And for the training, we do pay for training, and we also have incumbent worker training, and we provide those fundings available for anyone that's interested. And if individuals or companies are having problems with retention, we also can provide you information. I do have one of my staff out there, and she runs all kinds of labor market information and wage data so that you can see, reach out to us. We're here to serve businesses and the community.
Thank you. Those are great resources too. So we have a few minutes left. Why don't we open up the floor and see what questions you have for the panel members? And I think we can do it without mics, or do you want us to throw a mic down? So just feel free to stand up and let us know what your question is.
So I know that you all do job fairs because we have worked with you all to do those. Are you finding that they are still as successful as they used to be, or have times changed with social media and everything that those in-person job fairs are maybe a thing of the past, or?
Well, pre-pandemic, they were very successful. We are having some difficulty in getting the job seekers out there, but it is getting better. It is improving. I'm not sure if at the beginning of 2021 there were still some, I guess people were scared about the COVID still, and there was a lot of uncertainty out there, but the recruitment is getting better as far as the job search. As far as the job fairs, they're increasing. We are getting hundreds of people attending. I know that GBIC, they're not here right now, they just had one, a career in coffees, and they had a lot of people going out there. We do have targeted job fairs as well at our centers, and we are seeing a lot more traffic than we did in 2020 and 2021.
Thanks. That's a great question. Is there another question? Somebody in the back.
I don't have a question, it's just a comment, but I have used the posting of positions through the Workforce Commission, and I love it because basically you submit, someone will call you, they set it up for you, they give you your password, your user ID and password, and then you post the job, and people start submitting your resumes and contact information. So you can go in, log in, click on the attachment, look at their resume, and then you can start emailing with them, communicating with them when you can interview and ask questions that, and then someone will call you like a follow-up, and they'll say, are you still wanting this position fulfilled? So they continue it. So through the pandemic, it went through a whole year, but I just really liked it because you had someone helping you incorporate it, and all you had to do was click and view and if you wanted. And it was just so easy. I really liked it.
Thank you so much for your comments, and anyone that's interested, we do have that dedicated staff that will go out to your business and help you set up an account and walk you through that whole process of the Work in Texas.
Yes. I have a question for the Workforce Commission. So I know that there's a lot of trainings and available for the medical industry, and it's mostly targeted towards nursing, the nursing profession, for filling some of the shortages that hospitals have. But there's also the other side of the industry, such as those who are in the mental health arena. I know that I work with a licensed psychologist, and right now he is short of behavioral technicians or analysts and certified behavioral analysts who are able to assist him and help him in those clinics for mental health for children with autism and other behavioral disabilities. Is that something that you all can help and target, or for the trainings? Or is it just limited just to nursing?
It's not limited to nursing. We do have about 42 occupations that we target. The specific one that you mentioned is not one that is in our targeted list. We can certainly look at all of the labor market information available to see if it's something that is in demand. And we do look at the prevailing wages, and we look at what kind of credentials and schooling is available in our local area. Sometimes there could be some shortfalls in some occupations, but training is not available.
Sally, let me ask you this, and I appreciate the question too, because we always are looking for, we call them patient care technicians, but we look for folks that can work with our behavioral health patients, our patients that either come through the ER or the hospital that have more behavioral health issues than typical traditional medical conditions. And I happen to have a great resource for you, so I'll touch base with you afterwards. But I do know that there are lots of different, not lots of different, but there are several training programs, nonprofit training programs. I've been approached by some are part of higher ed, so our local community colleges are resources, and then sometimes these smaller nonprofits. And typically what they'll say to me is, if you tell us what you need, we will work to match what your needs are with what we're training our students in. So, and it can be anything from an associate degree, bachelor's degree, but it can definitely be just, skilled training too. But Sally, does your organization have a list, or if somebody reached out to you and said, are there any organizations in the community that could help me train a small workforce in a specific skills? Do they need to find those organizations on their own, or is there anybody in your organization that can kind of give employers a list of where to go?
Well, the state of Texas has the statewide list of all training providers in the whole state, and you can also filter it by county and by zip code, and it lists everyone that's available that can provide training, whether it's the local community college, a proprietary school, there's other industry training providers like apprenticeship programs, and we also have partnerships with other training providers, like the Texas Workforce Commission just rolled out about a year ago a metrics learning system, and that is free training for your staff. You just have to create an account, and they have about 5,000 courses that you all can take advantage of. And I also have met with Miss Catherine from the Texas A&M, and she has a manufacturing hub here in Cameron County, and she provides a lot of training, really great trainings available, and some of them you do get a credential. So yes, please reach out to us. We will provide you and guide you and link you to the partners that you need, so that you can get your staff and trained and you employed.
Time for one more question. Or anybody want to share something that's working for them that you would share with the group in terms of work, recruitment, retention?
Hi, we do a few things. One, on employee incentives. We have a product to offer, so we do a lot of trade outs with other businesses in the area for $20 gift certificates if we live on the island to sisters. And it doesn't have to necessarily come, monetary expense that you have. There's hotels on the island. The hoteliers will say, yeah, I'll give you a room rate for $75 or something like that. And that's a huge gift to your team members. So it can be as small or as big as that in an easy trade out. If you have a candle shop, gift certificates or candles for Chick-fil-A or your friend next door. And then we also use a training app. It's for our industry specific, but it's very much becoming how to hire team members and people looking for positions. They're like absolute instant gratification. So if you're not quick enough to call them back, to email them, like even a couple of hours is like too long these days, which is wild to believe, but it's so true. And so they want to have access at any time, just like we're completely attached to our phone, to apply with you 24 hours a day at their house, in the car, wherever they need to be. And then they want us to be immediately responsive, which is wild to believe, but that's the new day that we're in. And so I'm sure that there's different apps. We use one called WorkStream, and
I mean, you just have to manage it and say, you have to make yourself more available than you ever have before. I know for us, we kind of typically do like a 2 to 4 interview process, but like that doesn't work for everyone anymore. So flexibility is the name of the game. And as you said, the majority of your day can almost be consumed with hiring, training, retaining. We call it counseling between me and my husband now. I mean, we wouldn't tell our team that, but we did hours of counseling today, goodness gracious. You know, and so it kind of turns out to that. So just a lot of emotional support on demand and flexibility that we have to be willing and able to give.
Great ideas, great ideas. Yes, one more.
So I represent an economic development in FAR, and so what we do and has worked for us is we do internships, and what we do is that we partner with our local school districts with their junior, senior students, and then we connect them with local businesses that are willing to host an intern, and sometimes these short-term programs turn into an actual employment opportunity for the students. So we have had students already employed at these businesses that connected with them. One of the things that we like to promote is for businesses to connect with the organizations, because some internship programs can be paid with some workforce solutions funding, and some of course are going through the school district on their own, but of course these are opportunities are available to small businesses without the cost coming out from their overhead or any of their internal costs. And so it's a great opportunity, and then they get, you know, these are skills that they're learning, work experience, and then they take it to further themselves in their future.
What a great program. Thank you so much. I think we're out of time. Thanks so much to our panelists for sharing their valuable knowledge. Thank you to all of you too. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day.